It's not usual that we see members of the royal family, of course he has been stripped of his titles, being criticised in Parliament. There are rules that make that very difficult. Do you think this is a day where we've seen a change in the way that Parliament talks about members of the royal family?
Yes, it does feel like there's been a change, and there clearly has to be. We fully agreed with the Liberal Democrats' motion today, and we think it's right that there is accountability. Obviously, I can't say too much about the case of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. It's an ongoing police investigation, but we are also absolutely clear that anybody who has any information about the appalling acts of Jeffrey Epstein must come forward and share that information with the authorities.
Are we also in a new era where documents can be forced out of Parliament? Because we've seen that with Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, with Peter Mandelson. That's quite unusual.
Yeah, I think the humble address, as it's called, is a very sort of arcane parliamentary language, has existed for quite some time, and we used it in opposition to get certain documents to, if you like, force the government in certain cases.
But the fact that you've been forced to release these documents in quite quick succession, I mean, that is unusual, isn't it? Are you setting a precedent here?
Well, but it's not really been with any reluctance from our part. So we had the motion. There was an amendment to that motion simply to say that we couldn't have issues of national security or very sensitive matters around trade, for example, being published or put into the public domain. But apart from that, everything needs to be published. And I think very soon, I think as soon as next week, we'll see the first tranche of documents being published that are coming out of that humble address. So the Prime Minister, the Cabinet, the entire government is absolutely focused on getting all of the facts out there into the public domain. OK,
let's talk about Peter Mandelson, a day since he was arrested. How are you feeling right now? This reflects on the Prime Minister's judgment, doesn't it?
What we are clear on is, and the Prime Minister's been, very straight about this, is that if he had known then what he knows now, he would never have appointed Peter Mandelson, and that's why we are toughening up things like the Ethics Commission. We're giving more accountability in terms of making ministerial appointments. We're getting ministers to
But, does it frustrate you that you're having to face questions about this? You want to talk about GPs. We'll come on to that, I promise. But yesterday we were meant to talk about special educational needs. The Justice Secretary wanted to talk about reforms today, but instead you're having to answer questions about Peter Mandelson, who the Prime Minister made US ambassador.
Well, as I said, if the Prime Minister had known then what he knows now, he would never have appointed him.
But do you find it frustrating to be in this situation?
We are where we are, and of course it's frustrating because the government is moving forward positively on reforming our public services, on strengthening our economy, on getting closer to the European Union, all of the good things that we need to take our country forward. Of course, we would much rather that the likes of Peter Mandelson were forcing us to have these conversations. But on the other hand, I would say that it's, I think, positive and encouraging to show that the institutions of our country are actually moving forward and taking action. The police have acted on Mandelson and Mountbatten-Windsor. Parliament has acted to ensure
you can't deny this is a political problem
that is
for
the British
Prime Minister
state
right now as well.
That is the British state showing that we are a country that is based on the rule of law, and that's a really important part of our values.
You want to talk about GPs delivering same-day appointments for urgent care. Who defines urgent care?
So urgent care is defined by GPs, but with the guidance of the Department for Health and Social Care. GPs are very well trained. They've all been through extensive education and training to understand what urgent care means. The key with what we are doing on general practice is saying, look, it's the front door of the NHS. When we came into power in July 2024, that door was hanging off its hinges. We are getting it fixed. Patient satisfaction with access was only 60% when we came into office. It's now at 75%. We said we would put 1,000 new GPs on the front line. We put 2,000 on the front line. We are getting the new contract in place now for 26-27. That's going to bring an additional 1,600 GPs onto the front line. We are incentivizing GPs to do more vaccinations for children. We're looking at obesity in terms of weight loss programmes and also weight loss jabs. So this new contract is full of really positive, forward-looking actions, and also ensuring that GPs, when somebody has a clinically urgent situation, they are treated on the same day.
The GP Committee of England say you're setting up expectations which won't be matched by NHS reality. You know, is the definition of urgent going to be different for patients as it is for GPs? And are you setting up a situation where people are going to be dissatisfied?
No, it's examples of, for example, if somebody has asthma or COPD and there is a significant uptick in the issue, the more, it becomes more acute, or perhaps an older person suddenly becomes very confused. I think that none of that is going to change. Those are the well-established definitions.
So you're going to be telling patients that their situation is not urgent?
No, well, if you manifest any of the symptoms that I just gave examples of, there are many other examples, you're classified as needing an urgent appointment. We are mandating that 100% of patients who fall into that category will get a same-day appointment. And we are confident, working with our colleagues in the integrated care boards and GP practices across the country, that we will be able to ensure that where perhaps some certain practices are not managing to do that, we will come in, we will support them, but we will also hold them accountable and ensure...
How will you hold them? Will they be sanctioned?
There will be, in the contract, they are mandated to accept support, and that support comes in from the Department for Health and Social Care, from the regional structures that we have for the NHS, and also through partners such as the Royal College.